All right. All right. If we aren't unlucky, our opponent will never get a turn this game. Very unlucky. Our opponent's gonna get a turn. It's just the worst. Sand's actually pretty good. We get a couple of temples. We have Goryos. We have a way to get something in the bin. We're just looking for a Griselbrand here. I'm gonna be a bit. How much does one of those decks run in cost? I have no idea. I don't own Magic cards, paper or otherwise. My balding is a result of bad genetics. Spiritually, I'm like 55. In actuality, I'm under 30. Lantern control. Okay. 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 Yes, Damping Sphere is a card that was designed for Modern. You said desks. There's a link to the desk. It's great. It's more than good. It's great. Grimy River. Maybe I'm just actually supposed to Night's Whisper there. Maybe I'm just supposed to Night's Whisper there. I think I missed sequence. I think I was supposed to go basic Mountain Night's Whisper there. Ding. All right, don't have main deck. Does anyone remember when Lantern had main deck Surgical Extraction? People remember when that was a thing? Man, what a fair game of Magic. Opponent got 2 entire turns. What an incredibly fair match of Magic the Gathering. If you've never watched this deck before, chat, let me tell you the treat you're in for. Let's exile Simian Spirit Guide, exile Simian Spirit Guide, cast Nourishing Shoal, exile a green spell, splice this onto Arcane. Yep. Oh, they're actually just dead already, right? Because I hit this Goryo's Vengeance here. Because Magic's a tough game. Let's go ahead and cast this on my Borborygmos. Big B money. Let's put big B money into play here. Give him the business, the old ham sandwich. Look, that match lasted 5 turns. My opponent took 2 turns and I took 3 turns. Sounds like a turn 4 format to me, chat. Sounds like a turn 4 format to me. Isn't that what they mean when they say turn 4 format? 2 for them, 2 for me. Fair's fair. Splinter Twin was too fast. All right, I want these Chalices, I think, and these Shattering Sprees. Maybe Collective Brutality is not actually good here. I think Through the Breach is fine because they do have cages. I actually want to cut here. Oh, I want the Engineered Explosives too, you think? I guess that makes sense. Yeah, I have a lot of cards I could bring in, chat. The problem is, like, what am I actually cutting? Like, what am I actually cutting? I kind of want all of the cards that are in my deck right now. So maybe I just don't want Chalices. Maybe that's narrow. They have so many 1-mana spells, though, right? Brutality's not good enough. I believe that. Sometimes I just hedge and board out a Goryo's Vengeance, but they don't get to cage particularly fast a lot of the time. I like my cards that draw cards in this matchup. Maybe I could trim a Nourishing Shoal because they're not pressuring my health total. Like, Worldspine Wurm's also pretty bad. That's probably fine. I need 2 more cuts here at this point. I could like trim, yeah, all the cards that draw cards are good. I'm aware of that. I could trim a Desperate Ritual, perhaps. Makes it a little bit harder when we're going off, though. Losing a Desperate Ritual. We could trim a Goryo, just because it does feel really bad when we have 3 ways to kill Grafdigger's Cage, though. I'm gonna cut a Breach. If we're breaching them, we have more time. I could trim a land on the draw. That might be okay. I think Blood Moon's just, it's fine in this matchup, but it's just like not better than the other cards I already have in my deck. I think Chalice is pretty good. I think Chalice is pretty good. Yeah, but like, if I want Chalice sooner, playing less of them doesn't make sense. I mean, I brought in 6 cards. 6 cards might be considered over sideboarding. Like, I have 1, 2, arguably 3, 4 easy cuts. Seems okay. Like, not exciting, but fine. No, I don't think you're supposed to. You definitely trim rituals before you trim monkey. So Pithing Needle too, yep. Oh, is that good? I think that one's pretty good. Well, now I'm just moving to hand size, right? Do 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 do. You have a surgical, or is this gonna work? Do I? All right, so let's, what am I doing? We're gonna go this. Cast by exiling a green card. Pitch that one. Turn 4 format, chat. They took 2 turns. We took 2 turns. Fair's fair, okay? Fair's fair. All right, I've got two monkeys at this point, so I can splice onto Arcane. There's a shoal. Cast this, pitch a green card, splice additional spells. There's a better green card down here somewhere, right? Wow, I actually don't have any green cards here. Huh. Huh. Alright, well, I'm actually just attacking them here, right? And we'll draw 7 more. There's a worm on top of my deck, guaranteed. There's a Borby. How much mana do I have? I have another shoal down here, right? I have another shoal down here. Do I? Yeah, I have another shoal down here. Okay, so what we do here is we go Nourishing Shoal, splice, exile this. I'm gonna splice this Desperate Ritual by pitching these. Press OK. I gain 3 mana here. And now we go ahead and we cast Faithless Looting. I'm gonna draw the worm, chat. That's what I'm doing. I'm literally drawing the worm right now. Oh, I got rid of my other thing though, right? That's unfortunate. I got rid of my Manamorphose, so I can't filter to black, so I need to make more red mana. Oh, but I have a Desperate Ritual in here still, right? Yeah, so now we go Nourishing Shoal, exile, splice additional spells, exile this, splice this onto here. Okay. Get some mana. I need mana. I need mana. There's a Spirit Guide. Alright. Pitch Spirit Guide. Cast Ritual. Cast Through the Breach. Put Borborygmos into play. Magic's a tough game. It's really tough. God, beating Lantern feels good. Screw that deck. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Just blast ya. Charging my laser. Taste it? Can you taste it, Mr. Krabs? Howdy to everybody out there. Welcome. If you're new, my name is Jeff Hoagland. I'm a TCG player and content producer. I stream full-time here on Twitch. If you are enjoying the memes and the laser beams, please consider subscribing to my channel. Subscribers are the reason I'm able to do what I do as often as I do it. I do this full-time here. You can also support my stuff by supporting my sponsors. MTGOtraders.com. I love to buy and sell some Magic Online cards with you. If you use code Hoagland PayPal at checkout with them, you'll save 8% on your singles orders there. CoolStuffInc.com buys and sells a lot of cool stuff, including TCG singles. Using promo code Jeff5, you can save 5% on Magic, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh cards with them. InkedGaming.com would love to help you customize your gaming experience using code Jeff12. You can save 12% on custom playmats, mouse pads, binders, and bags there. And finally, this stream is made possible by viewers like Anoronix and you. Anoronix likes to remind you to make sure you hit that follow button at the very least. That one doesn't cost you anything. It lets you know when I go live and with what. I always try and put the names of the decks that we're going to be playing on a given day in the stream title so you kind of have a heads up on what we're going to be playing. And if you can't catch whatever we're doing live, be sure to check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Jeff Hoagland. All of my archives get posted there. Most recently, I've been giving my Prime sub to Holy Shamgar. He streams a lot of Modern in the morning and the early afternoon. Usually I have him on while I'm getting other stuff done around the house. How does splicing onto Arcane work? Thingamabob, you should go read some Splice. Go read the Oracle text for Splice onto Arcane, and then if you have questions about specifics, I'd be happy to ask, but I'm not just gonna like read you the Oracle text of a card or a mechanic. So go open the Gatherer or type !card in chat. Like search for Splice into Arcane. This hand's not. Is this hand good enough? I guess it's like a little bit slower, right? Like we have a Scry, we have Disruption. I don't check messages mid-stream, Thirduce, so after I finish a stream, I go ahead and I check through all my whispers on Twitch and messages on Twitter and respond to everyone in those places. Statistically, Ponza, which probably isn't a terrible matchup for us. I think I'm interested in keeping this land, though, if they're playing Ponza. If you're really good at problem solving and Googling for answers, being a developer isn't that hard. Not Ponza. Okay, Devotion, it appears. Smells like Devotion. We're going to Collective Brutality the crap out of this Scavenging Ooze. Do I want to escalate and take a card out of their hand? Probably. I think it's pretty unlikely that my opponent, that we're going to need 2 copies of Through the Breach. There's a non-zero chance they have things like Primal Command and obnoxious things of that nature, so I'd like to spot check for one of those potentially here. Genesis Wave, all right, yep. Yeah, Simian Spirit Guide is the reason why this deck's able to do the offensive things that it does. For those that are new to Modern, if you want to pick out a single card in this deck for the reason why we're able to do offensive things, Simian Spirit Guide is the offender you are looking to cast stones at. Or you should be looking to cast stones at. I'm going to bottom that and pass the turn here. All right, Eggs and Brains. Your username feels familiar. I'm going to go ahead and give you a 10-minute timeout because, again, if you want to post an opinion like that in chat, I need you to give it some substance. I need you to say, I still prefer the Grixis deck to this one because, and then put on your big kid pants and tell me why you feel that way. I'll give you an example of putting on my big kid pants for why I disagree with you. I think this deck is much better than the Grixis deck because when this deck actually combos, they die. They lose the game most of the time when you combo them. This deck can also kill through Ensnaring Bridge with Borborygmos. This deck is faster on average on the turn that it kills the opponent. This deck gets to play Blood Moon out of the sideboard because it's only 2 colors. There are lots, I feel like there are lots and lots of advantages this deck has over the Grixis deck. The Grixis deck has been consistently unimpressive to me. The number of times I've flooped an Emrakul into play in the Grixis deck and then still lost the game is way too damn high. So we're taking 6 here. Going to 8. I Lightning Axed and didn't articulate myself last turn because I was ranting, but I Lightning Axed the Beast because I didn't want to be dead on board this turn, obviously. There is a Grixis Goryo's deck that I think, on average, is much clunkier than this build for the reasons I just listed. All right, let's just floop a Worm into play here. I also think Worldspine Wurm's a great card, because, like, Worldspine Wurm here, imagine if this was an Emrakul. I mean, if this was an Emrakul, we wouldn't be winning this game of Magic. But because this is Worldspine Wurm and it's going to leave 3 bodies behind, we're probably winning. Tom, untime out girls 8, girls 8, girls. Unless you were timing them out for their username, which I don't really care about. I kind of agree with their assessment there. Like, Street Wraith and Simian Spirit Guide are, like, similarly offensive cards. They're similarly offensive cards. This is probably a Bontu's matchup. I feel like our opponent in general just can't really interact with us very profitably, so I don't really want to dilute my game plan too much, and I'd like to just kill them. I probably don't need Borborygmos to kill them most of the time. I'm going to trim one of those. Collective Brutality, I guess, is pretty good because it kills Scavenging Ooze potentially. Yeah, I think I'm just going to trade a Borborygmos for a Collective Brutality here and just try and run them out of the game. I think that's all I'm going to do. I think the Bontu's is overboarding. No, I think we just kill them. The Blood Moons in the sideboard are there to try and cheese wins out of interactive decks that can have a lot of disruption in them. So I'm going to do the old move to hand size here again and bin this Griselbrand. If they have turn 2 Scavenging Ooze, I feel really bad. But if they don't have turn 2 Scavenging Ooze here in another land, we get to Goryo's Vengeance, potentially kill them on our second turn. Yeah, opponent's deck does also generally play Blood Moon. So no Scavenging Ooze, please. Come on. No scoos, no scoos, no scoos. No scoos, no scoos, no scoos. Tilt. Can I concede? I think I'm gonna concede. I'm gonna concede. Alright, next game. Next game. We weren't 0% there. We were pretty close to 0. I'm gonna go ahead and I like making them have it. I like making them have it. They probably don't even have 4 Scavenging Oozes in their deck. They might. It's a pretty good card, but they have at most 4, so like threatening to kill them on turn 2 there seems fine. I think this is okay. Breach Wurm's pretty good in this matchup. I'll keep Night's Whisper there, just propel ourselves. So, for those of you that are new to the stream, that's gonna feel like an early concession. For those that aren't new to the stream, you're gonna hear me repeat myself here. I play Magic to have fun on this channel, and like sitting there and floundering about in a match where we're very unlikely to win, I don't find particularly fun. So I don't play through games like that. And there's my opponent's Grafdigger's Cage, and we have Through the Breach Worldspine Wurm, so God bless. That's my absolute favorite thing about this deck, is them having, ooh, that's actually pretty scary. That's actually pretty scary. Huh. All right. We could die next turn. I'm gonna bin Breach and bin Bloodstained Mire here. We're looking for fast mana here. Looking for a Ritual or Simian Spirit Guide. Do not need another Griselbrand. Correct. We don't have choices that involve us interacting with the druid, so just is what it is. So if I hit a Ritual next turn, I actually want to put the Griselbrand into play, right? Because, like, I already have 2 Worms, so I'm pretty likely to be able to go off with another Breach, I think. Yeah, I think if we hit a piece of fast mana, I'm going to put Griselbrand into play and try and just kill them. We did not hit a piece of fast mana. I'm not flashing back Faithless Looting because there's a Grafdigger's Cage over here, for those that are wondering. Before that question gets asked, the reason why I didn't flash back Faithless Looting is because there's a Grafdigger's Cage on the other side of the table. I'm not new to Twitch chat. Let's head that one off at the pass. Please don't kill me with Greater Hoof. Please don't kill me with Greater Hoof. Oh, chat, we gonna die. We gonna die. Aw, my opponent's linear thing was better than our linear thing. That's so unfair. Why is your deck so unfair, opponent? Okay. Okay, are we not dead? I would be so excited if we're not dead. Super, super excited to not be dead. Don't you dare put a Godok Teeg into play. Non-legendary, can't put a Godok Teeg into play. I boarded out a Borborygmos, right? That's unfortunate, because I'm going to need to find the second Borborygmos to kill. Oh, no! Oh, no! Did they just fail to find with Woodland Bellower? I'm really confused. Oh, they have Cage. They can't get anything. Nice. Opponent is also playing a combo deck. And by that, I mean I assume we're dead here, because they have 15 mana. We have way more than 15 mana. Their last card is genuine. See, I've read this book before. Do they not have it? Do they not have it? Oh, geez, they don't have it, chat. All right, can I get some buckle up emotes in chat? Can I get some buckle up emote subs? We're gonna run hotter than the sun here. We're gonna run hotter than the sun, and we're gonna kill them dead. All right. 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 Alrighty. Alrighty. Let's see how good we can run. Let's see how good we can run. We could definitely miss. We could certainly miss. Let's try not to miss. That's not a good scene. That's not a good scene. We have to attack first now. It's unfortunate we're not 1 hit point higher. I guess I attack... I should attack Garrick, right? Because if I hit, I'm gonna have enough lands anyways. Yeah, so I'm gonna attack Garrick just in case we get into that position. All right, come on, come on. Where are my things? Holy shit, we missed. Oh god, just top half of our deck, no shoals, just zero shoals in the top half of our deck. That's really unfortunate. I mean, we still die if we X the 6/5. Doesn't do anything. Live by the sword, die by the sword. Was the next fucking card. The next card was a shoal. Good lord, that's really unfortunate. Six, seven. You just drawn our whole deck. What a tilt. Hey, Bailey's MC. Thank you. Thank you for the Twitch Prime support. I do appreciate it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. He did. No, I didn't cut a shoal. I cut one Borborygmos Enraged. I only boarded one card. I figured our linear game plan was better than theirs, so I cut a Borborygmos and boarded in a Collective Brutality. My airbag didn't deploy. Glad I buckled up, right? Is there an unbuckle emote? Yeah, I think we were pretty likely to hit there and go off. That's fine. Them's the beats. No, there was not a Manamorphose in those cards. We also didn't have two... I also didn't have two starters. So, we were failing to go off for a multitude of reasons there. Okay. Yeah, I'm actually interested in keeping Griselbrand here because it's one of the cards we need to go off. I actually think this deck mulligans pretty well, and there's two reasons why I think this deck mulligans very well. The first is that we're kind of a 1-2-3 combo deck in that we just need discard Griselbrand Goryos in order to kill our opponent. The second reason we mulligan okay is because Night's Whispers is card advantage. So Night's Whispers is a very, like, next turn, we get 4 draws at Goryo's Vengeance next turn to kill our opponent. I get to go ahead and Cathartic Reunion, ditching both of these legendary creatures, and then if we hit Goryo's Vengeance, I get to go ahead and flip Griselbrand into play on the back of the Spirit Guide. Hey, Tempest Shadow with the brand new Twitch Prime support. Thank you very much for that. I know there's a lot of excellent streamers out there, and I thank you for choosing to put your Amazon Fund money towards my channel this month. Thank you, thank you, thank you for that. I'm gonna go ahead and cast this Faithless Looting here, see what we find. Another Nourishing Shoal and lands. Can I bin one shoal here? Maybe. I guess I probably don't need the Spirit Guide, right? The Spirit Guide's good in case I hit something to Through the Breach next turn, though. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna ditch a shoal and ditch a land here. Pass the turn. We're now 15 cards into our deck without a Goryo's Vengeance. Breach is more of a plan B. That is correct. That is correct. Am I dead? Pretty close to it. All right, we kind of need a Goryo's Vengeance in these next 2 cards. Urkadar with the 9-month resubscription. Thank you. Thank you very much and welcome back. I do appreciate that. Yep. Yep. Wow, that's gross. That's if you're I could have taken one more draw, right? Didn't matter. All right. Whew. Whew. I'd have felt bad. I'd have felt bad there otherwise. We missed. It's fine. All right. That's how this deck plays out on average. The games you win are generally a landslide, and the games you lose are just you fumbling around, drawing cards, doing nothing, looking at the statistical variance and going, man, I didn't find my 4 of in the top half or top quarter of my deck. Shattering Spree is probably pretty good. I don't think I want Chalices. I'm just going to bring in 2 Sprees, and I'm going to trim this, and I'm going to trim a Desperate Ritual. Sure, Hoopawell, but there's definitely a lot of combo decks that exist that even when they're not winning, they like play a pseudo fair game of Magic and like actually have back and forth. This deck doesn't really have back and forth. It's generally a slaughter in one direction or the other. Not looking for it through the breach. Looking for Goryo's Vengeance. Looking for Goryo's Vengeance. Welding Jar. Glad I have a Shattering Spree. This deck would be really bad with Dig Through Time. I'm not sure if what you just said was a genuine statement or not. Just Dig Through Time would be very bad in this deck. Why would I not fetch next turn? Is there a reason I should choose not to fetch? Yeah, but Morodith, your odds of fully going off, especially with the health total that we had, with the health total that I had, can you, okay, so here let me rephrase. Can you make an argument for me for why it's statistically correct to hold the card when I didn't have the Through the Breach set up already? No, I don't think I need to explain why. No, I'm not going to back myself up on why the card that discards cards out of my graveyard-based deck wouldn't be. All right, All right, I'm gonna explain then why, because obviously I need to explain this in case this isn't a troll. If your goal is to splash a blue card into a non-blue deck with the goal of adding consistency, you're not adding consistency. That's not what you're doing. Splashing a blue card in my non-blue deck is not going to add consistency to it. That's not what that's going to do. Yeah, and for those that are wondering, I double Shattering Spreed the Overseal there because there's a Welding Jar in play, so if my opponent Welding Jarred the Seal Overseer, it would still die. Pretty dead here. What card was I supposed to discard instead? I liked all of the cards in my hand, Morodith. I liked all of the cards I had in my hand at that point. Man, what a tilt. They just like kept a hand that didn't do anything. I think I'm supposed to... I'm actually going to go ahead and Lightning Axe here. And the reason why I'm going to go ahead and Lightning Axe here is because I want to... Well, for starters, I don't want to take extra damage. I want to keep my health total above 4... Oh, this is bad, right? They're just going to put a buck ton of counters on here. Oh, this is actually great for us. I just want this out of combat. So if they're just letting this get removed from combat, remember, regenerating removes something from combat. So we have a 4 and 48 here to kill our opponent. Hey, it was our turn to be lucky. After getting a little bit unlucky in a few games, it was our turn to draw a live one. Got him. Blockers don't matter. I think Cathartic Reunion is great in this deck because it allows you to see a lot of extra cards. I think one of the reasons why this deck is very powerful is because it sees enough cards every game to be very consistent. And Cathartic Reunion is a big part of why this deck is so scary consistent. Are they dead? They might just be dead here. I might be playing with my food. I didn't count. I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, they're dead. All right. Sorry. Sorry, opponent. I should have... This is how we win. This deck can actually win at instant speed without combat. And this is actually a great example of how we win at instant speed without combat. Like, our creatures are never going to connect here, and Borborygmos is just going to gun our opponent down. I don't think this is a Bontu's matchup, right? Chalice of the Void seems pretty funny, though. Or Engineer Explosive seems funny. They have a lot of zeros, right? I think Explosives is great. Is Cathartic Reunion too slow on the draw? Maybe Through the Breach is too slow and I should trim one. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna trim one. Let's do this. It seems pretty good. I think we're just like moving to hand size again here, right? We've moved to hand size a lot in these games today. I think this is probably the most I've ever moved to hand size with this deck. See if they have a way to interact with my graveyard here or not. Yep, it's Walking Ballista. So this Ballista can get up to 4/4 here, so I need to be careful with my health total a little bit. I cut through the breach because in general it's probably going to be too slow against the deck my opponent is playing. So I can't actually draw twice here because my opponent can activate this to kick this up to... Oh, I can draw twice, right? I'm a liar, actually. This can only go to 4, right? This only goes to 4. I can draw cards here, right? Chat. Can anybody in chat double check and confirm that I can draw cards and not die? I can draw cards and not die, right? Sure, but I don't want to. I want to shoal later because if I hit another spirit guide, I can ritual splice onto the shoal. Yeah, because I go to 5 and then this hits me for 4. Yeah. And I can't actually splice anything here, right? Because I only have 1 spirit guide because I'm very unlucky. Yeah, okay. So this puts us to 18. Or sorry, it puts us to 16. No, I ideally want to do this before attacking. So now I can't draw again without doing it. Wow, still, that's fine. That's fine. This puts me at 20. There's another spirit guide. So we go pitch spirit guide, pitch spirit guide. I have 2 Borbies in my deck still, right? Yeah. And I'm through, so it'll be my 3rd worm I'm exiling. And I have another worm in hand already, so I'm going to cast and splice additional spells here. Oh. I could take another hit, right? This puts me to 6, which is fine. So now, Spirit Guide really greases the wheels on the meme bus, right? Did I hit another mana source? I did not hit another mana source, but I hit a Borborygmos Enraged. So what we get to do now is I get to cast this, exiling this, and now I get to splice Desperate Ritual onto this card because Splice into Arcane is a silly mechanic. Now I actually get to pick up my entire deck here, right? Because there's exactly 14 cards in my deck. Oh, that's not true because they could kill me in response. All right, so we go to there. And now I go ahead and cast Desperate Ritual. And then I'm going to go ahead and you cast this other Nourishing Shoal, exiling a green card, placing additional spells. So remember, we pitch this, and then we drew a Borborygmos, right? Yeah, we did draw Borborygmos. And then we splice Through the Breach onto here, because Through the Breach is cheaper to splice for some reason. So we'll go to 21, and we'll floop this Borborygmos into play. And then we'll use Borborygmos to motorboat him down. Modern is a fair, interesting, and interactive Magic the Gathering format. I should play this deck in Kentucky, huh? This is the deck I should play in Louisville. This deck's obnoxious. Turn 3 Batterskull is too... That was turn 3. Turn 3 Batterskull is too strong, though. Can't have Stoneforge Mystic. We are 2-1 currently. We are 2-1. Jeff playing with himself is a different kind of live stream. Peace, Magic Fiend. Thanks for dropping by. This hand's okay. It's got a Spirit Guide and a Breach, and we've got a Scry. If we get a really lucky Faithless Looting, we could have a fast kill with this hand, so I'm gonna keep this. Cathartic Reunion. Huh. I think I'm in the market for that. Just draw a bunch of cards here. Louisville is at the end of next month. Like the third weekend in May. Cathartic Reunion's a little bit scary against Scalding Tarn. I don't actually want to cast Cathartic Reunion against Scalding Tarn, right? My opponent has to get a second turn to cast Damping Sphere. If we just don't give them a second turn, they can't cast Damping Sphere and they die. Am I supposed to Cathartic Reunion here and then like pitch myself off a building when they spell snare me? I mean, I kept this card, right? I think I'm binning Goryo because I don't have another discard outlet in my hand. Oh no! Oh no! We're gonna get 3-for-1 chat. Tap land, not a base. No! No! Don't do it! Don't do it, opponent! Don't do it! No! I like the pause where they're like, do I 3-for-1 him here? All right, I'm gonna go to the bathroom because that one scared the piss out of me. I really wish I knew what win condition they were playing. If I knew what win condition my opponent was playing, I'd probably just concede, but I really want to find out like how they're killing us. This game is very over. This game is very over. We're very unlikely to win. It's exceedingly unlikely to win this game from this position. I want to try and glean some more information about the deck my opponent's playing before I pack it in. Like, this is literally a game where, like, if I was playing in paper, I'd look at my opponent and go, if you tell me what your win condition is, we can go to the next game. And most of the time, people will be like, this is my win condition. You're like, all right, let's go to the next game. Doesn't humans main deck Force Spheres? Can you use your words like an adult and tell me why that deck would want to main deck Force Spheres? Why? I'm gonna... This isn't super accurate because it's got bad MTGO data in it, but like, it's close enough. Look at Modern. Sphere isn't good here, isn't good here, isn't good here. It's good here, it's good here. It's bad here, it's pretty bad here, it's pretty bad here. Don't metagame. Don't try and play bad cards like Sphere in your main deck. That's just bad magic. That's bad deck building. Sphere is going to see plenty of play in Modern. It's a fine magic card. It's not going to be some 4x magic card. It's just not. That's unrealistic. So I'm pretty sure we trim a ritual here. I definitely want the Brutality and the Pact of Negations. We're trimming Cathartic Reunion because of what you saw happen in the first game there. It's pretty bad for that reason. Am I supposed to bring in Chalice of the Void? I don't think so. Maybe you could argue I'm supposed to trim the Lightning Axe, but this kills their creature, which seems okay. I think I'm just going to board like this. 2 packs and a Collective Brutality in. Brutality in is great here not only for fighting their counter spells, but because we're boarding out Cathartic Reunion, it's one of our discard outlets. So like we're trading one discard outlet for a different discard outlet. It seems like not particularly impressive, but I think it's fine. We get to cast these Light Whispers and gas up a little bit here. You have plenty of mana. We usually have to play a longer game against these more disruptive decks, which is what it is. And these set us up well to play longer games. That's not true, Norman, right? Because I'm on the play. So because I'm on the play, this won't let me discard. Honestly, the Meddling Mages and the Kitesail Freebooters are probably better against Storm than Thalia. Like, Thalia's fine, but like she just negates a mana creature. It's the Meddling Mage and the Kitesail Freebooters that really stick it to them. Hey, extras with the 3-month resubscription. Thank you very much and welcome back. A quarter of a year. I appreciate the continued support. As always, subscriptions are the best way you can support what I do here. So this is something that you want to be aware of. Nourishing Shoal is effectively a ritual for Through the Breach because of Splice into Arcane. So if we hit a ritual or a Simian Spirit Guide here, we're going to get to put Griselbrand into play next turn. We're going to get to put Griselbrand into play if we hit a mana acceleration. You know, potentially. Temple of Malice. I'm actually going to go ahead and cast this Night's Whisper. This might get a counterspell out of them since they shocked in. Especially if I don't play a land drop before it. No, I did not cut a Borborygmos. I'm gonna bottom that. I'm really not looking for another copy of that effect. Please tap out for something dumb. 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 So I'm just gonna go ahead and pass the turn here. They put a card on top there. Cast a Jace opponent. All right, so do I want to end step Shoal here? I kind of want to Shoal, pitch, Borby, Splice, Breach, right? And then they counterspell and I can untap, cast Breach again. I think this is our best chance to push through. Whoa, so that happened. All right. So that certainly just happened. Do they have a cryptic command? And they just like chose not to use it? Maybe they were expecting what's it called? They were expecting Worldspine Wurm here. There's a Pact of Negation. Maybe they didn't realize I spliced something onto it. Here is my no button. I don't know about you, opponent, but I'm feeling 22. Wiggle my worm right into play there. Wiggle my worm right into play. So that's actually a good question. The reason why I didn't splice the Through the Breach onto Arcane there's a reason for that. So in case my opponent had 2 counter spells, I wanted to be able to cast Nourishing Shoal in response to my Through the Breach, so I could gain 11 to draw 14 more cards to find a second Pact of Negation in the event I needed 2 copies of Pact of Negation there. So again, the reason why I chose to cast the Through the Breach as opposed to splicing it is because I wanted to be able to respond to their counter spells with the Nourishing Shoal so I could draw deeper for a second copy of Pact of Negation. That's a very good question. Thank you for asking. I should have articulated why I was sequencing the way I did. This deck has a lot of really small things that you can do to eke out those extra percentages. So mana efficiency wasn't going to be our issue there. Our issue was going to be if they had too much interaction. So by setting myself up for the sequencing that I did there, I positioned myself to be able to play through more interaction potentially. I'm going to keep this hand on the draw. We've been keeping all the move to hand size, discard Griselbrands. This one needs a second land or a Simian Spirit Guide, but it's got potential to turn 2 or turn 3 them. What's going on, Thomas Lee? Howdy, howdy. I will likely not be at Grand Prix Vegas. Things are not looking good for our hero, chat. Things are not looking good for our hero. When on turn 2, my lecture is about to start. If I've been to many Grand Prix, not in a very long time. I think I did 1, 2 years ago. Grand Prix are very expensive. Traveling to Magic tournaments in general is expensive, and Grand Prix are more expensive to play than Opens, generally speaking. Really want a black source. Really want a black source. Really want a black source. That's unfortunate for us. Looks like we're gonna die. Looks like we are dead, chat. It's unfortunate, but that is how the cookie crumbles. I think Allurin in Legacy is one of the worst Deathrite Shaman decks in the format, which it means to say it's probably still competitive, but I do think it's pretty significantly worse than a lot of your other options. Now we have to draw exactly Swamp. All right. I didn't recently play... Magic players' definitions of recently are really bad. I played Allurin at a Magic tournament while Counterbalance and Sensei's Divining Top were still the best deck in the format. And I think when Sensei's Divining Top was legal, Allurin was a creature-based combo deck that lined up really well against Miracles. With the recent advent of Grixis Delver being the best deck in the format, Allurin is a very, very bad deck in the format. That's not to say people won't still play it, because people play all sorts of terrible things in Magic, and especially in Legacy, but that's just how it goes. The only reason Allurin still sees any amount of play is because bad Deathrite Shaman deck is still better than a lot of the rest of the decks people play in Legacy. I finished in the top 1,000 at Milwaukee. We had a window there where we could have won, but didn't draw the lands on time, so we ended up dying. That's how it goes sometimes. All right, we're 2-2. 2-2. You could have maybe argued that I could mulligan that last hand there, but I feel like the other match we lost in this league, we got pretty genuinely unlucky. I have no idea. I don't actually have any first-hand experience with Food Chain, so I can't comment on how powerful it is, especially in relation to the other deck. I don't think Food Chain's gonna play Squee. I'd be pretty surprised if they did. Like, Food Chain could already play the new Eldrazi, and they don't play that card. This hand's pretty mediocre, right? Yeah, I think our average 6 is better than this. Sounds okay. The Scry in this deck is very powerful, so I'm inclined to mulligan close 7s. Is Spanish Inquisition the worst Deathrite Shaman deck in Legacy? Almost certainly. Almost certainly. I think unlike a lot of Magic players, I'm not going to tell you I can predict the future and predict the power level of a card I've literally never played a game with. So people trying to predict power levels of cards they haven't played games with in the context of a format is how you get a bunch of professional Magic players screaming and crying that Jace the Mind Sculptor is going to ruin Modern, and we all know how that turned out for us. So like, you should probably just like temper your feelings and like play actual games before you try and predict, instead of trying to predict the future and how powerful cards are at a given spot. Opponent is playing Tasigur, Fatal Push, Faithless Looting. Hollowed one? Hollowed one. I don't think that was people overhyping to sell. I think that was just people were like, people are really prone to hyperbole, and I feel like even Magic professionals feel like miss the part that where like power level is contextual, and while Jace is an extremely powerful card, in the context of Modern, it's really not that strong, right? All right, so definitely Hollowed one. They binned my Night's Whisper, which sucks. They also binned their Hollowed one though, so we've got that going for us. I always have a second one, chat. Don't have a third one. Don't do it to me. Turn 2 9 power. It's pretty good. Yep. The fact that they looted away Tasigur on one kind of makes this more likely. I'm gonna drain them here and look at their hand. So that way I can put this Borborygmos into my bin. Yep. If we're really lucky, we'll draw Faithless Looting and Faithless Looting into a Griselbrand and kill them next turn, but the classic shotgun Blood Crypt. We can actually kill them next turn, right? Because this hits for 7. This is 10. If we have, what, 4 looks at a land to kill them if they attack with both? You actually get 4 shots at a land here. We can just kill them with Borborygmos in the fairway. Yep, just gonna do this. So when Borborygmos hits our opponent, he flips over the top 3 cards of our deck, and we put all lands revealed that way into our hand. So we don't have a ton of lands in our deck here, but if we get 1 land in these 3 cards, we'll kill them with the trigger since we already have 1. The reason why Hollowed one's such a good deck, Cube Cram, is because there aren't really ace in the whole sideboard cards against it. Graveyard Hate misses their deck some of the time. Honestly, just quality creature removal is the best way to interact with the Hollowed one deck. Look, this is the fairest way this deck can kill, chat. I realize it's a fair kill, but like in the context of what this deck is doing, this is exceedingly fair. Yay! Yay! Actually, you know what's funny too? If our opponent would have played the Blackcleave Cliffs there instead of shocking off of that, they wouldn't have died. So if opponent would have played better, they wouldn't have died there. I'm going to board that out. I'm going to board these Bontu's Reckonings in. I think I actually want to trim a Goryo's Vengeance here because I'm expecting Graveyard Hate. I'm expecting Graveyard Hate out of my opponent, so trimming a Goryo's Vengeance in the face of Graveyard Hate usually isn't unreasonable. Can trim a Cathartic Reunion for the similar reason. When will this league approximately end? This is the last match. Hopefully the last game of the last match. Hopefully the last game of the last match. Then we're going to play some Jeskai Control and then some Blue-Red Fairies. They don't all have 4 ley lines. Some of them have like spell bombs and stuff. Seems pretty mediocre. It just doesn't do anything. Seems fine. It's got a Faithless Looting. I'm going to bottom a Shoal here. They do have a ley line here, so I'm glad that I trimmed some of our graveyard stuff. Okay, it's Worldspine Wurm. So we're looking for fast mana, sweepers, and through the breaches at this point. To set the bar low, this deck is better than Owly Mine. Alright, and some fast mana. Get a fat loot on here. I'm actually gonna bin Borby and Manamorphose here. Nourishing Shoal is just good against these aggressive decks because this is just to gain 11, right? Which is like buys us a turn. Yep, Jeskai Control is the deck we're going to be playing next. Huh. Oh, that was loose. I could draw a Temple here. Or that. Could also draw that. It was loose. It was really, really loose play on my part. It was exceedingly bad sequencing. Exceedingly bad sequencing. You have a Goblin Lore too. Smells like it. Burning Inquiry maybe? Oh, Goblin Lore, sure. And now if I draw through the breach next turn, I actually can't through the breach because I have a tapped land here because I sequenced my lands wrong last turn. Yep. So hoping to draw Bontu's Reckoning. We also can't go Faithless Looting into Bontu's, which is sad. Bontu's, please. Bontu's, please. God, could you imagine how good Bontu's would be there? It's like middle fingers to the sky, blast you away. I'm actually going to take this Cathartic Reunion back in. I'm going to board out another copy of Goryo's Vengeance. Yeah, I think that's just what I want to do. It's like trim those in the face of Graveyard Hate. I think they're more inclined to mulligan aggressively here, especially when they're on the draw. everyone for tuning in. It's kind of awesome. We had a little over 1,000 people. Hope everyone's having a good Tuesday. Hanging out playing some Modern here tonight. It's going to be our last game with the Goryo's Vengeance deck here. And then we will be battling with some Jeskai control. Then we've got a blue-red Kiki Fey brew that someone has submitted. There's a lot of sweet things coming up here this evening. This scene seems fine, right? We get to curve like Bontus into Through the Breach Griselbrand at some point. Through the Breach Griselbrand is worse than Wurm in this matchup, but it's still not terrible. We're just looking for more mana sources here, right? Yeah, I think I'm on board for a Blackcleave Cliffs. No Leyline in the opener is good for us, I suppose. I hate this fucking deck so much. I realize our deck's really obnoxious too, but at least, like, we don't do this to people. That's so frustrating. Just, like, doesn't even matter what my opening hand is, because, like, it's not going to be my opening hand. Alright, how am I setting up here? How aggressive do I want to be? I could Lightning Axe this Hollowed One. That's probably the conservative play. The inverse of the conservative play is I could bin the Lightning Axe on a land, and then if I draw a Ritual or a Spirit Guide, I could Breach Griselbrand next turn. No, I haven't really played Grixis Control Gold main. I do know that Jeskai Control has far outperformed Grixis Control, so it's probably a little bit better. I think I just want to bin the Lightning Axe and the Bloodstained Mire. The problem is if I bin, like, these things, like, I'm gonna, like, have to hit a Goryo's Vengeance. There's only 2 of those in my deck the way I've sideboarded here. I don't think that's true, Innocent Smith. In my experience, when people talk about decks being hard to play, usually that just means they're bad. 9 times out of 10. Wow, please don't have a land. Can we get a little bit lucky and maybe they don't have a land since I discarded our Bontus? Come on, miss. Damn it. I'm so excited. Oh, geez, they have a Delve threat too? Really need to hit a piece of fast mana if they have a Delve threat here. Just another Hollowed One. Alright, so we need a Bontus or a Delve threat. Or sorry, we need a Bontus or a fast mana. It's not fast mana. So we're taking 12 on this attack. I think I'm just passing, right? I get flashback Faithless Looting. If I flashback Faithless Looting, does that do anything in particular for me? It sets me up to Goryo's Vengeance next turn, potentially. I think I'm just passing here. I'm just hoping not to get lightning bolted out of the game. I don't need fast mana to Through the Breach next turn. Nourishing Shoal plus Borborygmos is fast mana for Through the Breach. So, Nourishing Shoal is +1 mana for my... So with the cards in my hand and on the board, I can Through the Breach next turn and put Griselbrand into play. All right, so hoping for no bolts here. Comes the beats. So the reason why I need them to not have a bolt here, chat, is because I need this land in play so I can splice this off of this. Is the issue. And just like that, $12 is gone. Magic isn't gambling. No, that's a lie. Yeah, I'm not really sure if there's anything I could have really done differently there. I could have not discarded my Bontus to Burning Inquiry. That was probably the line. All right. Womp womp. All right, let's queue up Jeskai Control.